Welcome back, everyone. And I do mean everyone. It's Forgotten Circus. So, in this video, we're going to go over Rebel Moon, the Scargiver. It absolutely sucks. Lazy writing, dumb cinematography. The whole movie's just dumb. It's just stupid. It sucks. The writing sucks. Directing sucks. The direction of the movie sucks. The special effects suck. And it should be downright. I think it should be charged as cinema plagiarism, because Zack Snyder, like, watching this movie, he sucks. And there's been a lot of people that have told me before, and like a lot of the comments and everything. It's nothing against y'all, that there's a lot of studio tampering with a lot of his products and his movies that he could. No, I think he just sucks. And I think that they kind of bite off a little bit more than they can chew, and they hire this guy to be this visionary of our era, and he sucks at it. It's the movie is all over the place. It makes no sense. And it's funny. You were already at the bottom. You already at rock bottom with the first one. I didn't think you could go any further. The only way was up. This guy fumbles the bag every time. I'm going to get into the movie. It's going to have a lot of spoilers because there's so much stupid stuff that happens in this movie. All right. First of all, the movie probably would be only an hour if he would chill out with the slow motion everything. You know what I learned about this? This movie isn't a sci-fi epic to replace Star Wars, and that Disney. You know what? We haven't been agreeing a lot with Disney and Lucasfilm, but I agree with you on this one. I stand by you. Yeah, this was a trash idea, and I'm glad that you didn't let the. I would watch the sequel trilogy over this any day. I would watch The Rise of Skywalker over this any day. This has to be in my top 10 worst movies of all time. You will lose the 2 hours. Trust me. So let's get into something. So there's certain parts in this movie. So I don't know why they recapped in the beginning of this with Anthony Hopkins. What a waste of incredible voice talent and actor. Anyway, I'll get into that too. They start off again like we didn't know from the first one. You know? The whole opening scene, I was like, wait, I had to stop it. And I was like, am I watching the first one? Did I hit the wrong one? Because they were right next to each other. No, they got a recap for no reason at all. I think we know because the movie was so dumb, everybody watched it. So, yeah, you got all that. And so you find out that Cora, or whatever, Cora the Explorer, which is your main antagonist, protagonist, antagonist, whatever. It could be both ways with her because everything is because of her. If you really think about it, she's actually the bad guy. Talk about bad luck charm. She's the bad luck charm. But anyway, so there's this point when the emperor that nobody gives a shit about because nobody explained his backstory really, and the queen and their daughter that has this special sparkling gift. You know, Elsa, I'll call her Princess Elsa. What was her name? I don't even know her name because you know what? They did not explain her for shit. And it doesn't make sense why Cora is so like, she's so emotional because her father's Belisarius or whatever stole it from Warhammer. Belisarius. And then, and she was basically the personal guard of the girl that she loved, the little girl that was her little angel, but she backstabs. And then like shoots her. But there's this point when like, all right, he knew something was going down. And here's another thing. If the king comes in with nothing, he has like 2 guards with him to a meeting with all the senators or whatever. And you lost me on that Caesar thing. You just steal stuff, Zach. Oh my gosh. Can you be original? Can you think of anything original? But you're this great visionary. So he does the whole Caesar assassination. Like, it's cinema plagiarism. It literally is. And, you know, so that happens. And then she's put stuck in between her father and the little girl. And then she shoots the girl and sparkles come out. And she's like, I forgive you. She's like, don't forgive me. Like, what is the point of this scene? And yet again, it was in slow motion. This dude does slow motion for everything. He did in this movie. I told you I learned about agriculture and stuff like that a lot of agriculture, so I know how to move grain from one building to the other building, and we can build tunnels. They showed me how to build tunnels and actually how to irrigate. But he uses slow motion with the wheat in this movie, the wheat just being cut, and you see the sickles and everything coming through cutting. It's beautiful. I thought I was watching a National Geographic movie directed by the Zack Snyder. But anyway, so she's at that point. So then when she finds out that her dad is going to betray her and then use her as a scapegoat so he can take over, then all of a sudden she wants to kill the 5 guards that are in there. The king didn't come with any guards. What happened to the Imperial robots? And we're going to get into C-3PO, Anthony Hopkins' robot, the introvert robot that has I'm more emotional damage than a person in the psych ward for some apparent reason. I thought these robots were supposed to be awesome. Where were they at? Why? If I was the king, I would have had all the robots. I wouldn't have trusted any humans. Obviously, look what happened. It makes no sense. So you got this whole thing. And then, first of all, Admiral Francis, y'all watch Deadpool at screen. Admiral Francis is not menacing at all. He's actually dumb. How'd you get to that rank of admiral? Like Belisarius, Beirut, whatever your name is, Emperor? That's the guy you got leading, and you got the king's gaze. You know, your fortresses of floating friggin' pleasure toys. That's who you pick. What about the other guy? The other guy seemed smarter. His second in command. I went with that guy. He made sense. But this guy is non-menacing. He's so stupid. So they get on the ground. I mean, he notices that obviously they're fortifying stuff, right? And I don't know why it turned into like a musical montage with Demon Hansu's character, General Titus. He's soft as a baby's bottom. You know, he makes no sense. They didn't really explain his story at all. He just didn't want to blow up a temple or blow up a place on a planet. And he had been doing this for years for, Belisarius, wherever, Beirut. He had been doing this for years, and all of a sudden, he just didn't want to blow up this one place. So they murdered all his people in front of him, and yep. And they just let him go, I guess. And this is what happens when you let people go. So you got this whole montage of him talking to Cora the Explorer and Captain Francis and Cuck Han Solo. And for the first time, someone made some sense in this movie. If we did all this stuff and set all this stuff up for the trap to actually take down the king's gaze, let's go with it. So cheers to you, Cuck Han Solo. You're the only one that made sense at one point in this movie. And that's not saying much. So he's got her right there, and then he's got the Scargiver, and he's like, oh, he feels like he knows it's a setup. He's got people in built, and it's just like, just shoot her and bring her body back. Say everybody's lying in the movie anyway, so just shoot her, and him. But even before that, so they put all the grain, the stupid grain, around all the buildings, so they couldn't blow it up. Like they can't get grain. That's the only planet. I mean, that's the only people that are on this planet. They just live in that one area. Oh my gosh. It looked very abundant planet like Earth. I'm pretty sure there's other civilizations somewhere, right? But no, they just want this grain. It's special grain. I don't know. So they put it around the building so the king's gaze or the king's ass, because that ship is ass, the U.S. Enterprise would probably whoop the brake. They would beat the brakes off you. Anyway, yeah. So apparently, you did get the story and just blow up one of the places and show them you mean business and tell them all to come out. Blow up the next one just because. Who does the battle planning here? It's like, oh no, we can't shoot the grain, man. And in the end, they didn't even need the grain anyway. Like I don't get it. So they have this whole thing with stories. They sit down at the table and they tell everybody opens up. They open up and everybody's telling their stories, right? It seems like a very inspirational moment. Not. It's terrible. So everybody's talking about, so didn't the one Wednesday Ninja Jedi, and she's a great actress and a great martial artist. I'm sorry that you were in this. But yeah, so she cuts off her arms to put on these other metal arms because that's the only way that you can wield like these fiery swords, which are his version of lightsabers, right? You have to use these. And I guess she said something about the blood of the memories were in them, but then other guys had the blue ones. So now red is good, blue is bad. So he did it reverse, stole something yet again, Zack Snyder from Star Wars, but just put it the other way. Hey, I'll just make them like swords, and the good guys get the red, and the bad guys they get the blue, and nobody will know that I stole this idea. And come to find out, you didn't even need to chop. Why'd you chop your arms off? She said, I didn't know how to fight. You probably could have learned it later. And then come to find out, you can you can put a belt around it, and then it'll still light up, and you're good to go. So why don't they make thicker cloth on the handle so anybody can use it? You don't have to chop your arms off. Oh, but they're coming down with this whole montage or this whole like letting everything out. It was almost like an intervention. Every conversation in this movie is awkward. It made me feel awkward as a viewer, like, it's what were you? No, Zack Snyder. There's no excuse anymore. You just suck at what you do right now. You need to find yourself. You need to be humbled. But anyway, I got to keep cutting this movie up. So they go, and all this stuff just fell flat. The most interesting place was what's his name, the heir, the prince or whatever, Tarzan guy that was always glossy in the first movie. They laid off the gloss a lot, but his story was like, I thought his planet looked like this weird dystopian dark city. I would have rather seen like his world and what was that about, But then he was like he was a punk. Like, and why did his mom have to do what she did? It made no sense. Wouldn't you dip? Like, if your son's dipping, wouldn't you dip with your son? Like, I don't get it. How do you get off the work? Whatever. And then you had freaking nobody's story. General Ties fell flat. And then Cora's story was like the same story we've heard before over and over again. We get it. Jeez. But the whole scene made no sense. And there are portions in that scene that's already running slow that he did slow motion. Come on, Zach. You're better than that, man. Or maybe not. Maybe you're just not good at it. So the whole thing. So you're going through, and then so we've had our farming and agriculture class, which I did appreciate. I learned a lot of things, how to hunter gather. Then we had our intervention throughout the movie, which was okay. Not really. Then we found the things of betrayal, and then you got the musical number. Iman Hansu, man. If you had a voice coach, like a singing coach, pretty, you get there, but not in a movie. You had the singing montage, and then you come to this long, epic sequence of battle scenes that make no sense. Like the friggin' flying dildo, the king's gaze, the king's dildo that's in the sky. Just start bombing stuff. I don't get it. And then they sneak onto the ship with another ship, and that ship was the ship she crashed on. But apparently, all you have to do is take out bird's nest out of it, hit a couple buttons, hit the keyboard a little bit, and the thing works perfectly fine. Why was this never used ever? And why can't they track it? And all of a sudden, she has to hide it behind a waterfall because that's the key. That's going to be the trap. Is her little drop ship, Like they've come there before and went over the land. They didn't see it. I mean, I saw it and it was out in the open, and it's like in a perfect view that you can see it. It's not like concealed. There's no shrubbery that grew around it, no overgrowth or anything. It's just sitting out there perfectly. Just a couple birds' nests, and it works, Really? Are we serious right now? This movie is it's utter trash. And Bellaris, what is the point of him? You never see him. And then you get the kicker in so many parts in this movie where, like, they get on the ship and they're like, so they sneak on the ship, and of course they say, take it to the main hangar bay. The one that's injured, the ship that's injured, like, we can't do this in any other bay, but it has to be the main hangar bay. but there's a whole bunch of hangar bays sitting right there next to each other. Wouldn't it just be one of the bays? Just take it to the hangar? But no, he goes off in this distant one to this secret one, you know. And then they have all these guys that aren't armed for some odd reason, or were they armed? I don't know. So yeah. I have to talk about what's the name getting killed. So Wednesday Ninja Jedi. Um, she's fighting these guys. They come in. And one's got a couple of them got laser swords. You know, she's doing her thing. Gets her arm cut off. And I just happen to look around the room, and I'm like, wait. So you got the one dude that is an actual private. I get that, but he is actually trained more than anyone else, and he sucks at fighting. He gets taken out, and there's like 30 people behind tables that could be helping this young lady, you know, distracting, maybe throw stuff at him, distract him, throw stuff at him while she's like swinging. At least you can do that, because obviously they're not pressing forward to get to y'all. They just want to pay attention to her. So maybe you can throw some distraction, and if somebody turns, she can, you know, help her out just a little bit. Maybe an assist, you know, alley oop. Wow. So then she dies. And it's like, what was the point of her character? She barely talks in the movie. She got paid for like what, 10 lines throughout the whole two movies. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she goes, and then they do this walk of honor. But stuff's still going on around people. Stuff's still getting blown up. People getting killed. But okay, you know, we got to honor her right then, that second, when we didn't even help her. Oh my gosh. All right. So anyway, this is a long one. But then we get into other stuff. Then I'm going to skip past because this is a long video. We get the dumb sliding down. So on the king's gaze, the king's dildo that's crashing. Then all of a sudden, Cora gets the lightning blade. And then, you know, there's a bunch of people with no guns. And then she gets out and, you know, kills all them. She kills these other people. She tells old boy that, you know, that she's almost there. He's waiting in the hangar, which, you know, the Admiral Francis is actually at, and for some odd reason probably doesn't have any good hearing to hear that he's on the dropship that is 5 feet right in front of him, and he's talking to somebody. But obviously, Han Solo is so discreet about what he does. He was actually probably doing it in Morse code. They actually had to transfer it so to us, to our mind, saying that no, he's talking, but it's in Morse code because they can't hear it. They're right next to him. I don't know. That's the only thing I can make up for that. That's how garbage that is. Okay, so then she gets there, and they have the epic fight. They find a way, some bombs left, boom, the king's gaze is falling, you know, all the king's dildo has now ran out of batteries and can no longer vibrate, so it is turning on itself and crashing into the earth like the Titanic. Yes, and that's then they have the epic slide down the floor fight scene because they wanted to do some weird side cinematography with the I feel bad for the cameraman if he actually had to be this way the whole time. I'm pretty sure your neck hurts from the bullshit that you had to film, and I do apologize for that. And so then so apparently the cloth is working. They're fighting. He's using his laser sword because he's got gloves on. And yeah. So then they get the upper hand on him, you know. Admiral, oh my gosh, Admiral Francis gets plugged between the doors. She beheads him, and then everything's cool. And then the king's gaze falls, and then you're like, yeah, they're never going to come back again. You've said that the first time. That was another thing too. They were like, is he dead? No, he's not dead. I killed him. He's not dead. He's dead. I'm not dead. I guess nobody's dead. And okay, so that crashed. And then at the end, you get everybody's like, yeah, we did it. Yeah, now we're going to have this awkward meeting in the middle of the field with burning people, you know, as tribute. Okay, we got that. And then all of a sudden, here's the kicker. Here's the big part of the story. Big part. This is where it all makes sense. Everything. So, Cora's sitting there. Cora the Explorer is sitting there, and she says, yeah, don't thank me or whatever. I'm not that good of a person, everything. And then she looks and is like, Titus. And then Titus is like, I know who you are. And he says her name. And who cares about the Scargiver? What was she? It looked like cigarette burn she was given. I don't know why she got the thing for Scargiver. It's not a cool nickname. Anyway, but he's like, I know who you are. And you are not the assassin. The princess is alive. Well, yeah, if you knew that the whole time, asshole, General Titus, man of honor. What's up, asshole? Why didn't you friggin' start with that? Why didn't you lead with that from the beginning? Probably around the time where you guys got to trust together, maybe in the first movie, and then this movie would have been made sense. Like they had the Scargiver and the princess there, and that's why he didn't want to shoot up the buildings and stuff. That would have made sense because like, oh, I can bring you both. Yeah. That would have made sense. So where is she at? And she was like, where is she at? Where's Elsa at? Where's Princess Elsa at? Since he's known the whole time, completely known the whole time, dude, I would have been like, dude, bro, are you serious right now? All the people that died, and you knew about this? Come on. So and then, but he doesn't know where she's at. They have to find her. And what's up with the blood axes finally coming through at the end and killing all the drop ships and stuff like that? I forgot about them because they are forgotten. They just came out at the end for no apparent reason with their flying ships. You know what I mean? More flying friggin' pleasure devices. And yeah, didn't you want to coordinate with them in the beginning to have some type of air support against the air support? Could have done like a trap. This movie, it's awful. It's I don't know where he's going with his visions on stuff anymore. I think it's almost become like a parody or a joke. That's the only thing I can think of. This movie is shit. It sucks. It's terrible. And normally I would have people just watch it to laugh. I couldn't even laugh. It actually made me enraged and mad that this type of cinema hits the screen. And this is where the money's going with a lot of stuff, where you got all these struggling independent filmmakers that are making these masterpiece, beautiful things for a very limited budget because you know what? They have a passion for it and they know it makes sense. This is some weird shit, dude. I don't know. So don't waste your time. If you want to watch it, and thank you for watching my review, but this is a no-go for me. Like, out of stars, if I were to do it, IMDb stars, I'm giving, just because it did have promise if they would have used C-3PO and the princess as like the focal part. I think it should have been a movie about those two. Like he has to still keep protecting her, and then you could have picked up these warriors and stuff that would have joined. I think she should. I don't know, but anyway. This was a long one. I'm sorry, but I'm sure it was worth the watch. But tell me what you think. This movie, and if I missed something, because there is so much unorganized chaos going on in this movie, that if I missed something, let me know in the comments. Let me know. But I did not like this movie, and I don't want to see another one. I don't. And they leave it open. Spoiler alert. They leave it open up for a third. Please don't. I mean, he may have to. Don't even crowdfund. Don't even get a GoFundMe. Don't even. No. No, not at all. Not the vibe. But anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Forgotten Circus. I want everyone to subscribe. And I do mean everyone.